Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm trying something new here with the avatar, so let me know what you think about it. And as always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the video. Today I'm going to be talking about Population 1 going free to play on the Quest platform and why it isn't worth playing for certain types of users. Let me explain. Let's get the basics out of the way, just in case you don't know what the game is. Population 1 is a VR battle royale that went free to play on the standalone Quest Store on March 9th, which was only last week. Although the primary game mode is a battle royale, there is also a sandbox mode that features user-generated content, and for now it mostly contains team deathmatch maps and other random experimental stuff. As a disclaimer, I've never played Population 1 before the game went free. However, I have a lot of experience in VR first-person shooters and other games in general. After playing the game for a week, I'm definitely not horrible, but I'm not the best either. All that being said, here are my thoughts on Population 1. Let's talk about the core gameplay. For now, I'm just going to reference the Battle Royale section. The sandbox looks really promising, but it's too early and there aren't enough maps in my opinion to give my true thoughts on it. But the Battle Royale is fun. When you frag out with teammates that aren't screaming children, it's a really great time. The core gameplay loop is you drop out of a pod, loot, and hopefully win the game, on repeat, just like any other Battle Royale. If you're the type of person that loves multiplayer, this is a non-issue. If you think that it's too repetitive, you probably won't enjoy it. But you knew that going into watching this video. This is just an overview for people that are unfamiliar with the game or haven't played it before, as well as Battle Royale as a genre. The guns are varied in their behavior and appearance, but I have major gripes with them. I don't like that there's a floating reticle when you aren't aiming down the optic and how simplified the reloads are. But wait, you might say, those mechanics are what make Population 1 different from other shooters, and you would be right. The simplified reloading and aiming is certainly fast-paced, but I would argue that the immersion and higher skill ceilings of manual reloading and aiming are much more enjoyable. Coming from Pavlov, Contractors, Onward, and Veil, it definitely feels like Big Box targeted the lowest common denominator with these mechanics. To be fair, those gripes have been a thing since the game came out, with many people saying it felt too arcadey. I can't do the hand gestures for air quotes, but you get what I mean. Having more options is better, especially in the market for shooters. However, I get the feeling that most experienced VR users, including myself, will not find those mechanics immersive at all. Next, let's get into in-game cosmetics and currency, which is where my main complaint is at. Obviously, Big Box made Population 1 free to play to increase the player base on standalone Quest, which by itself is fine. I'm also fine with the game being $20 on PC to de-incentivize cheating. They do give you $20 worth of Bureau Gold as a compensation. The skins themselves are cool, and there are legitimate ways to get cool skins without paying any money. My main issue is the target audience, especially with the free-to-play model. Let me put it this way. Who is more likely to own a PC VR setup versus standalone Quest? PC has an older player base on average, while the standalone Quest is more likely to have a younger player base. I attribute this mainly to the cost difference between the devices. Obviously, buying a Quest by itself is less than having a PC and another headset. How does a free-to-play game earn money? From the in-game cosmetics. And who is more likely to buy in-game cosmetics? The younger audience who don't own PCs. All it takes is one credit card attached to an account, and a kid can impulse buy any skin just because it looks cool. Call me cynical, but I think the true reason Population 1 is free to play on only the Quest Standalone Store is to get a younger audience to buy more skins. If there is no initial cost to entry and the game gives you a lot of free things to start, why not try it out? For an impressionable audience, they could very easily be sucked in and spend way too much money without anyone being aware of it. There was even an F-Reality podcast episode where the audio in Population 1 was found to mimic the noise of a slot machine. I'm not an expert on these topics, but that sounds like it encourages getting addicted. Too many parents think that the Quest 2 is just a harmless toy, not really knowing the experiences that can occur or real dollars expended. Beyond the fact that the Quest 2 has the largest player base, everyone knows the large proportion of young children who use the device. I'm always astonished by how young some kids admit to be, even though the technical age limit to use the headset is 13 years old. They don't know any better, and it isn't necessarily their fault when they buy something. It almost feels exploitive on Meta's part to continue allowing this, but including age verification, such as sending an ID or other type of photo, the onboarding process for a Quest 2 might be even more intrusive. And just keep in mind, when I say all of this, I'm not trying to cause outrage or start shaming Meta for what is fundamentally an entertaining game. It just leaves a weird feeling that I can't get over. To be fair, the scenario I described can and will still happen if the game remained $20 on all platforms. I could just be overanalyzing it. In combination with the shutting down of Echo Arena, Dante Buckley resigning from Downpour Interactive, and massive layoffs, it almost feels as if this is an attempt to make an already popular game even more lucrative, instead of catering to the community and making VR as a whole the best it can be. Okay, that was really heavy, so let's talk about Population 1 on a more positive note. If you are a new or inexperienced VR user, the game is a lot of fun. Consider checking it out. If you're a parent, make sure that if your kid gets this game, they don't spend a ton of money on cosmetic items without your knowledge. If you're an experienced VR user, you might not enjoy the game solely from the fact of the non-immersive shooting and aiming. That mostly comes down to a matter of opinion, so your mileage may vary. If you have a Quest 2, try it on standalone, or on a PC VR headset, you can try it on Steam and then refund it. As for the future, I don't plan on making too much content about Population 1 or standalone Quest games in general. Reliably getting footage is so much of a hassle, even with the new recording options. And every single VR creator knows this too. Like I said earlier, I could be overanalyzing the moral implications too much. Do you agree or disagree with my interpretation? Leave a comment below with what you think. What's for sure is that Meta is facing a lot more stiff competition from the likes of the PSVR 2, and hopefully the Apple headset coming later this year. As a whole, the VR industry is going to heat up with more competition, and Population 1 is only a small part of that puzzle. I'll see you in the next one. And maybe I'll include a blooper of me not knowing what to do with the hand poses because the Ready Player Me avatar is just wacky. Maybe I put this in the end card or something, I don't know.